Welcome to the Gloves Are Off Overtime Edition. I'm Moses Woldu, and I'm pleased to be joined by Greg Buchanan.
Hey, Moses.
And Taylor Dyer, the head coach for the men's volleyball team. How are you?
Very good, thanks.
Excellent. We'll get to the questions we didn't get to, and we actually left off on the Aussie Open, the Australian Open. Now, it will be at 1:30 our time, Mountain, when in the morning that you'll have Milos Raonic take on Novak Djokovic. Of course, the other day, last night, we saw Maria Sharapova defeat Genie Bouchard. Bouchard has not beaten now Sharapova in 4 matches. This will be the 4th match between Raonic and Djokovic. Djokovic has won all 3. Does Raonic break that streak and head to the semifinals after Wednesday?
I don't think so. I think Djokovic is number 1 or number 2 in the world, so his return game is just good enough, and I don't think Raonic's return game is good enough to break Djokovic. His serve might get him close, but I think he still needs to find a way to break Djokovic, and I don't think it'll happen.
For Raonic to get to that next level, he has to win matches like this. And he's always been knocking on the door. And you almost wonder, when his career is done, in I don't know how many more years he has left, you're wondering if he's always going to be that guy that always gets up there but doesn't get to that next level. And he may be, unfortunately. And if this guy has his number, and he has over the last number of years, he's going to be in top again.
Well, how about this? Because you saw earlier this year, granted it wasn't a major, but yet you did see Roger Federer fall to Milos Raonic. So is there potential that we could see something here? You said the return game is going to be very tough for Raonic himself. However, he's got a heck of a serve. If he could get ahead of him, especially when he's holding serve, I think that's going to be his benefit. But do you guys see that at all? Does he have a realistic chance of sending this one even to, say, 5 sets?
I think Federer now, compared to Djokovic, isn't quite the same comparison. I think Raonic can stick around. I think he can get him to a tiebreak with that serve. But again, he's got to find a way to break Djokovic, and if he's able to do that, then he's got a chance. But I just don't think that he has it in him.
Yeah, for Raonic to win, his serve is going to have to be dynamite. His serve is he's going to have to get a lot of aces, and if he's getting a lot of aces, then he has a chance. So it's going to be all about his serve, and if his serve is working for him and working to perfection, he has a shot. But be it just a shot.
Now we'll move on to the Coach of the Year in the CFL, and it's no surprise that the person who wins the award won the Grey Cup this year. Calgary Stampeders' John Hufnagel won the Grey Cup, was awarded the Coach of the Year. Now, if you look at the other guys who are the nominees, Tom Higgins and Chris Jones, particularly Chris Jones, who turned around that Eskimo team on a dime, winning 8 more games, which is the largest record margin of wins from one season to another. But yet he finishes runner-up. Do you guys still feel that John Hufnagel was the right choice of Coach of the Year? Or perhaps maybe there should be changes and it should have been given to Chris Jones?
Yeah, I was surprised Jonesy didn't win it. You consider how much they turn it around in 1 year. The other thing that really bugs me about this is, why are they doing this time of year? Well, I understand this is the way we've done it in the CFL for how many years, and we're not going to change. No, they should do it during Grey Cup week with all the other awards. Why do they have to do it in January? It's the CFL just confuses me some days.
Yeah, the timing of it seems odd to me as well. Like, I'm not sure why it's now trying to stay relevant through the off season, I suppose. But I don't know. I guess the selection, you leave it up to the writers or leave it up to the league. I don't know. I think both are great candidates of the award, and but there's something to be said with what Jones did and that Eskimos team. So I mean, either way, it's a good decision, but it's, I guess, for greater minds than mine.
All right, guys, how about this? Kyle Lowry, an all-star. Not only that, but he's an all-star starter for the NBA. It's especially nice to see when you got a Canadian, a guy who's playing for the Raptors, that is. He's not Canadian himself, but a guy playing for the Raptors actually getting some recognition. Do you feel that this is maybe as significant or perhaps even more significant than, say, when Vince Carter was chosen as an all-star and perhaps even an all-star starter in his case or in his prime?
I don't think it's quite as significant, just because Vince Carter was that marquee player. And not to take anything away from Lowry, but like Vince Carter was all the rage, and with his dunk competition and everything else, I think Carter was the face of Toronto Raptors basketball, Lowry's a great player. He deserves to be there. He's voted in by the fans. And it's great to see a little bit of a resurgence of the Toronto Raptors and playing great basketball. It's got me back watching basketball again. So I think it's significant, but not like it was in Vince Carter's day.
When Vince Carter was in Toronto and doing what he did in his all-star selection, he was a very good player on a pretty average team. Lowry is a very good player on a very good team. And I think that's the difference right now. Back in the day, the Raptors really honestly didn't have much more than Vince Carter. The Raptors have a lot more weapons than Lowry, and they have a solid team. So it's great to see, and I thought it was awesome when he did a speech, grabbed the microphone at the Air Canada Centre and thanked everyone and thanked Canada for making the selection, because those guys are starting to realize they're Canada's team, and come playoffs, you really hope they go deep, because the whole country kind of gets into it. So.
Now, if you're a baseball fan, you can only hope the Toronto Blue Jays would have players that would recognize the same amount as it seems that the Raptors have and the success they've had recently. But in terms of success on the show, you guys have done great. Of course, Greg, as always, unfortunately, you're going to be saying farewell.
Bye, and after 2 years, so greatly appreciate you bringing me on for the last 2 years, and we'll see you down the road.
Absolutely, and thank you, of course, Taylor. I know your team's going to be pretty busy this weekend, looking to get back in that playoff hunt once again.
You bet.
Awesome, and thanks again. I don't know if there's any last words you wanted to kind of...
No, just come on and watch the games this weekend. It's going to be exciting stuff on Saturday. It's cheap entertainment for the whole family. It's really fun, and it's a good time.
Playing against the godless Nate Oaks.
All right. Well, you know what? For those who are watching who are from Nate, we apologize. On the second half, we wanted to say thank you for at least sticking around and watching the overtime edition of Gloves. We are also on air every Tuesday night, CITL at 7:30, and then you can tune in to our show for the questions we didn't get to. In the meantime, we will see you in 7 days.